we were showing you this general modern car, automobile, and so on, and I discussed most of these joining names. So please go through these yourselves. There are also many of the joining methods. So why am I showing you? I mean, we started the chapter, the first chapter of introduction also like this, with showing you different types of modern products and relating them to the manufacturing world. And here now all the individual parts are already made by different types of methods, and now we are joining them, right? So the chapter is joining and fastening methods, and overall it is assembly operations, right? So what are the assembly operations in a good normal complex product? We are showing you just as an example. Now the types of welded joints. At the end of the introduction, we were telling you that how do we select the different types of joining methods and so on. One of the things is what is the geometry of the joint. What is the geometry of the joint? So this is a very nice schematic figure. If there are two parts, this is one part, this is the other part, and they are butting against each other, and we are joining them here, then this is called a butt joint, right? Those guys who have a good command of the English language know the other meaning of butt joint, and they maybe are already smiling. So, but no, but this is the butting against each other. When one thing hits the other, so we are saying that they butt against, I mean, for example, head butting, right? You are wrestling and one person hits you with his head on your head. So it is a head butt, but you can also smile that is a butt joint. Corner joint is very simple, right? That this plate is in a horizontal position, this plate is in a vertical position. So this joint, the joint in each one of them is the darker shade. So the joint, the darker yellow, is on the corner, right? The corner of this one and the corner of this one. So this type of geometry or configuration is called a corner joint. This is a T joint, right? This is one plate, the other plate is coming and forming a T, right? This is like a T. So this is a T joint, Here one plate is here, the other plate is there. One is overlapping the other, right? It is not butting, right? This corner is not hitting this corner like a butt joint, but this is sliding over the top. So this is like an overlap, and we have removed the word over and only call it a lap joint. It is actually an overlap joint, right? So now the contact will be here. And edge joint. It is like a subset of a corner joint. Corner joint is exactly 90 degrees, but if it comes, I mean, they join this and this together at some angle, then this is called an edge joint, and this part will be joined or welded or whatever, right? So if you want to permanently join two things by welding or brazing or soldering or chemical bonding, then butt joint, corner joint, T joint, lap joint, and edge joint are the general examples of the shapes or the forms or the geometries of the welded joints, right? So these are the types of weld joints. This is one of those nice diagrams or tables which I always point out in different chapters, that in one place you have a lot of good information for practical engineers. Not something to be memorized, but if you are in a practical field and you do this daily, then very soon you will get the hang of it. So if you see here, in the first column we have method, arc welding, resistance welding, brazing, and so on. Here different columns: strength, design variability, small parts, large parts, tolerances, reliability, ease of maintenance, visual inspection, cost. So this is brilliant, that you see from a practical engineering viewpoint, which of these joining methods, arc welding, resistance welding, brazing, bolts and nuts, riveting, fasteners, seaming, crimping, adhesive bonding, right? Which of them are good for strength, which can give you a lot of variation of choice, which are good for small parts, which are good for large parts, and so on. And here the legend: 1 is very good, 2 is good, 3 is poor. They are going from only 1 to 3. Sometimes it is 1 to 5, but it is very good, good, and poor. So for example, if you want to go for a strength, Then welding, brazing, bolts and nuts, riveting, they are highest level in strength. Fasteners and crimping and so on are second level, and adhesive bonding is the weakest because it can be broken more easily, and so on and so on. In terms of tolerances, right, in welding and so on, tolerances cannot be maintained. You have to do a lot of finishing, but in riveting, almost best type of tolerancing will be there, and so forth, right? So a one-page table of a very deep and a very wide practical application, that for practical engineers who are actually doing a lot of assembly operations, how to choose. Then to me, strength is very important. To me, life is very important. To me, cost is also very important. So I try to optimize a solution, that which solutions will give me a very good combination of strength and cost and life, and the other things we will see, okay, and so forth. So, right, so a very good technique to choose. And of course, you can have lots and lots of solutions. Design and manufacturing are always like that. You have lots of solutions, but one solution is much better than the others, and the second is a little much better, and so on, right? So there are lots of feasible solutions, but the optimum or the best is something that is decided. Similarly, this is also a very, very good table. General characteristics of joining processes. Characteristics. So again, the joining process: shielded metal arc welding, submerged arc welding, gas arc welding, gas tungsten, flux core arc welding, oxy fuel, electron beam, laser beam. These are all welding types. All welding types. What types of operations are there? Manual, fully automatic, semi-automatic, and so on. What is the advantage? This is portable, can be done anywhere, easily taken to different places, flexible, right? And this works with most metals, and so forth, right? So portability is one thing, that the whole welding plant is something that you can take in a small truck or a car, even sometimes if it is a large car, and you can take it to different places. So it is portable. Flexible, it can do horizontal welding, it can do vertical welding, it can do other types of joint, right? So portable is different, flexible is different, and so forth. Skill level required. This is high level of electric arc welding, so high. But this one, because it is more automatic, so low to medium. So what type of skill level is required? Welding position: flat, horizontal, all. Current type: AC, alternating, or DC, direct current. How much distortion is there? 1 is highest, 5 is lowest. 1 to 2 means high amount of distortion can happen due to welding. So then you will have to think that during welding, your design and your shape and your geometry has now been distorted. So how will you correct it? And the cost of equipment, low, medium, and so on, right? So again, a very, very good chart. So the previous page chart and this page gives you a lot of general information. So for a practical type of engineer, you will say print out these 2 pages and put it in front of your desk. If you are in a company where assembly and welding and bolting and so on is done on a daily basis, then you can put these 2 in front on your wall, in front of your desk, and so on, so that you can quickly, in one quick reference, you can decide where to go for. Then of course you decide, you debate with your team and so forth. You debate with the design people, with the manufacturing people, with the shop floor people, with the planning people, and so on. So that was the general background of joining and fastening processes. And now, right, we showed you a table and the different types. Now one by one, we will take most of the common welding techniques first. Welding, permanent joining first, and then after different types of weldings are covered, then we may go on to some other joining methods. Okay, so the first one is oxy fuel gas welding. Oxy fuel gas welding. So there is a fuel gas, right? There is a gas which is a fuel. It could be hydrogen, helium, whatever, and oxygen is there to help burning, right? Oxygen is always it promotes burning. There is a good burning gas, but if there is no oxygen, it can't burn easily, right? So oxy fuel. So there are two types of gases there. One is oxygen gas, which will be supplied so that burning can be easily done, and the other is the fuel gas, which will be burning, and together there will be a flame and heat and so on. So normally you will call it gas welding, right? Gas welding rather than electric welding, you will call gas welding. And in this type of gas welding, there will be oxygen and fuel gas. So oxy fuel gas welding, OFW, uses a fuel gas combined with oxygen to produce a flame as the source of heat melt, right? So it melts the metals at the joint. The common gas, the fuel gas, is acetylene, the most common. You have done your basic chemistry, you know methane, ethane, and you know ethene and so on. So acetylene, right? Acetylene, you can go back, you immediately remind yourself, is it CH4, is it C2H4, right? Acetylene. So the most common fuel gas in gas welding is acetylene welding. So the general name is oxy fuel gas welding, but the common one is oxyacetylene gas welding. Oxyacetylene rather than oxy fuel. The fuel is acetylene. So this is the most famous gas welding technique, oxyacetylene gas welding. It is generally used for structural sheet metal fabrication and automotive bodies. Structural means all civil structures, buildings, houses, warehouses, bridges, wherever structural work is being done and you want to join two things by welding. So oxyacetylene welding is used there, and automotive bodies also. And of course in a lot of other things. You are making chairs, but the chairs are made of iron or steel or metal. So you can use it. It is also a structural thing. And this is a very nice schematic diagram. Schematic diagram. This is the base metal. This is the base metal. Okay. This is the other metal that you want to join, right? So you want to join two metals. Okay. This is coming, this is a nozzle. This is called a welding torch. This whole thing is called a welding torch. This has a nozzle, right? And it is connected to the machine. So from the machine, from the cylinders, a gas mixture of oxygen and acetylene is coming. And here there will be a regulator to control how much oxygen and how much acetylene you mixing and so on. And that will be coming at a give certain pressure through this nozzle. Here there will be a filler rod. There will be a material, right? You want to join two materials, but you will also have a third material which is used as a filler. So this will also melt. This will also melt. So this base metal will melt, the top sheet will also melt, and the filler rod will also melt. And all of this is the molten weld metal. Molten weld metal, right? And later on it will solidify. So there is a machine where gas cylinders and other things are there. Controller is there. From there a gas mixture is coming through the welding torch, through the nozzle. And you have to initially start a flame, right? Like a burner or something, start a flame. Now the flame is there and you have to keep it at a certain distance from the metal that you want to melt, and you have to hold a filler rod in the other hand. So the base metal is melting, the filler rod is melting, and when you move and this cools down, then all of them fuse together or coalesce together, right? So this is oxy fuel gas welding, and the most common one is oxyacetylene gas welding. Okay, so this is where we are at the current moment.